Hello, this is the Starkville Daily News Digital Express for this week. I'm Danny P. Smith, sports editor of the Starkville Daily News, and Joel Coleman's our beat writer for Mississippi State. And I guess this could be considered the rain, go away edition because we have endured some crummy weather the past few days, and it's canceled a lot of outdoor sporting events. I think I did see some blue sky above me as I came in today, but let's go indoors and talk basketball because it's getting to the serious times for a lot of people around here in Starkville. And the Starkville Yellow Jackets Saturday night, March the 8th, I believe. It was Saturday the 8th. I don't know, whatever it is.
We get our days mixed up.
Yeah. It's March Madness.
Saturday will be the 7th.
Okay, so I was a day off, but the March Madness is here, and the Starkville Yellow Jackets are going for back-to-back Class 6A state championships. And you know, we've talked about the job Greg Carter's done and several times already, but to get this program back for a chance to do something I don't think the boys program's ever done before is go back-to-back. So this would be a major accomplishment for Greg Carter and this team that continues to amaze.
Yeah, it's a credit. Well, it's a credit to the guys on the team. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from them, but man, Greg Carter just operates a machine. You know, it's hard in the high school ranks to say that the team just reloads, but that's what Starkville High has done under Greg Carter. They go into every season and have a legitimate chance to do this. I kind of thought this year maybe a tough road for them. You know, had a key injury coming into the season. And yet here we are. At the end. I thought Wednesday night would be a tough game for them. They rolled through that in the semis to get to this point on Saturday. So you can't say enough about the job that he and Coach Townsend, Coach Howard's done with those guys. And here we are yet again. And we'll see if they can finish the job. But just to get to this point, I know that they're not going to settle, but from my somewhat educated view of the situation, I think that they've already surpassed my expectations. Now, have they surpassed their own? Probably not. They probably expected to be here, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can finish it off. And those guys, you know, for their sakes, you know, I hope they can. Bunch of good guys, and Greg Carter, one of, if not the top high school coach, at least in this state, if not beyond.
Yeah. Well, close wins over Clinton and Olive Branch. And then, like you say, they just defeated a very talented Harrison Central team in Jackson Wednesday night. You know, a very good team with size, and they just went in there and just pretty much handled business big time. So, I mean, you've got Forte Prater, Trey Jackson, Colty Young, and as you mentioned, Zeke Cook's back from his injury and lending a little bit there. And anything he was going to give at this point was going to be a tremendous plus.
The MVP of last year's state game.
That's right. And who knows? If he gets to going like he did in that Clinton game, it could be he could be doing it again. So, but we'll stay indoors and talk about Mississippi State basketball. Of course, the women will begin their SEC tournament run Friday night, and they don't know who they're going to play yet because that is to be determined today with this round's games. But the men, you know, they took a tough loss the other night at South Carolina, and to say that they're on the bubble is an understatement because it's really about to pop, I think.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it kind of feels like at this point they, at the very least, need to beat Ole Miss on Saturday, and then probably. I'm no bracketologist, but I feel like they probably at least need to get to Sunday of the SEC tournament, and may need to win the whole thing anyway at this point. You've got. I haven't checked Joe Lenardi today, but in one of his last after the game, after the loss the other day, I think State was in the next four out, which means they're one of, and they were pretty far down that. So they have several teams, according to Lenardi, that's kind of in front of them in the pecking order here. A win over Ole Miss isn't going to bump you up a whole lot. Ole Miss's net ranking is, the last I checked, somewhere in the 90s, maybe. It's not going to do a ton for your resume. Right. That said, you don't need to lose it.
No.
Because you lose it, then your only route is to win the SEC
and
tournament.
they found that out when they lost at Ole Miss how much it hurt you.
Yeah. That may be their only route anyway. They may already be at that point. But if you lose on Saturday, you're definitely at that point, I think. So, bottom line, just win.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do. And it may not be enough, but it may. And so you don't know what that tournament committee, when they get in that room and they start crunching numbers, and you don't know how the other conference tournaments around the country will play out. And, we'll just see.
Right.
But right now their backs are totally against the wall. But I got a feeling that, tournament or not, this team lost by 25 or so to Ole Miss and Oxford. I got a feeling they don't want to lose on senior day
No.
to a team that embarrassed them just a few weeks ago, your rival. Howland hadn't exactly had the greatest of records against Ole Miss since he's been at State. This is a game that I think, tournament or not, State, and I'm sure everybody watching that supports Mississippi State, probably want that win regardless of an NCAA tournament berth or not.
For sure.
Should be an exciting atmosphere.
An interesting twist that you're talking about senior night, and we've already talked about Starkville High School. Greg Carter's going to have to miss Tyson's senior night. I know that's just probably, it's something he has to do.
Oh, yeah.
Is go coach his team to try to win a state championship. That's his job. I guess, that pretty much comes first. But
you got Tyson's senior
his heart's
night
probably going to be in Starkville, too.
on the hump floor while Greg Carter's at the pavilion.
That's kind of that'd be a strange deal. But there'll be family members that'll be able to support Tyson. And I'm sure, Greg, as much as he'd want to be there, he'll be coaching these guys and giving it their best effort up in Oxford. But like I said, Mississippi State men, in the past, the 20-win was the benchmark to get in the tournament, and we're talking about 10 years ago. But you've got all this other that enters into the equation these days. So, like I say, they win the tournament, but you put the decision in somebody's hands, the committee's hands, anything can happen.
Yep. And there's so many losses earlier in the year that hurt. That New Mexico State loss, Louisiana Tech loss, the not getting the buzzer beater to fall against Oklahoma, LSU getting the buzzer beater to fall in Baton Rouge. You flip around any of that, and maybe we're looking at a different situation, but ifs and buts don't get you far. So this is where State's at, and their back's totally against the wall, and all they can do at this point is win and see.
Yeah. Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see what they do, and of course their tournament will be, the SEC tournament will be next week. The women are currently playing right this week, like we mentioned, and it'll be interesting to see if they defend their Southeastern Conference title. They're in the NCAA tournament for sure. We'll probably host a couple of rounds in the NCAA tournament again. So that'll be exciting for them. So we'll see how they do, and hopefully with the weather will clear up sometime where we can talk about some baseball and softball and some of the spring sports will start
baseball
happening.
Coming up this weekend, and State baseball they need wins too. And they're playing a team that's 1-8 this season in Quinnipiac. It's not the easiest name in the world, but 1-8 coming into Duty Noble this weekend. I do think that they got into a regional, maybe even played in the regional final last year. So last year they were pretty good. This year they have not been so far. But State baseball's at a point too where 7-4 in the non-conference. You hate to go into a series a baseball series saying they need to sweep, because baseball's being baseball. Usually 2 out of 3 is okay at most every weekend. But State could really use a sweep this weekend just to kind of feel good about itself again too. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I think the first time I ever saw Quinnipiac, I kept having trouble saying it myself, was March Madness bracket somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see them in competition this weekend. But a lot of interesting things happening, so we'll keep you informed with our social media platforms and in the Starkville Daily News. So until next week, this is Danny P. Smith and Joel Coleman